Chime in on Twitter. Follow us at Schmidt_radio.
Follow us, the promised land.
Now, back to Hail Varsity Radio.
Back in Hail Varsity Radio, presented by the Nebraska Lottery. State Games of America getting closer and closer. July 28th through August 2nd. And Omaha and Lincoln, just proud hosts. Let's talk now with Director of Basketball for the State Games of America, Todd Johnson. Todd, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Chris?
Doing well. Good to speak with you again. Excited about so many athletes making their way to the great state of Nebraska for the State Games of America. Todd, you're in charge of basketball. Before we get into that, let's get a little bit background on you so folks can kind of get where you're coming from and why you're so passionate about basketball. Tell us about yourself, playing, coaching experience. How did this all start for you?
I've been playing basketball my whole life. Grew up in Sioux City, Iowa. Then in college, wasn't good enough to play in college, so I played intramurals and became an intramural basketball official and was really into basketball officiating for 15 years. And then here at my job with the YMCA, we run the basketball leagues all year long. So once we, with the State Games of America, it all fits into a great environment we can do in the summer.
Todd, you do a lot with basketball. You've been passionate about it. And your initial involvement in the Cornhusker State Games, how'd that come about?
They approached the YMCA about being the managers of the basketball tournament about 12 years ago. And so we took over the summer basketball tournament for them in the Cornhusker State Games and have been involved ever since. I was a co-director for 7 years and then became the director about 5 years ago.
Todd Johnson with us, Hail Varsity Radio. State Games of America in Lincoln and Omaha, and basketball a big part of it for years with the Cornhusker State Games and now also a part with the State Games of America. Todd, you've been directing and youth director for YMCA in Lincoln. You're managing the state games, and your involvement with not just basketball, but you're pretty involved with other youth sports.
Correct. For the State Games of America here at the YMCA Youth Sports, we'll manage the soccer tournament, the baseball tournament, the rec swimming program, and it's all part of a community outreach we do. We kind of combine and collaborate with the State Games office for our annual campaign, Strong Kids. They gave us a little bit of a donation to our campaign, which goes to helping families and kids in Lincoln participate in YMCA programs and memberships.
Kind of touch on, if you could, just the growth you've seen with youth sports over the years, and also, how important it is to you to be involved in community outreach.
Youth sports just continues to grow. With the community outreach, it's just getting as many kids involved in different activities we can and giving opportunities. Youth sports is really about giving kids a chance to compete and learn and the social aspect of sports, and that's one of the great things with the state games, especially this year with the national basketball tournament and all of them, is just giving kids opportunities to meet people from other states that they may not be able to compete against.
Tell me a little bit about the Strong Kids campaign, the goal of it. Great title, but how have you seen it in action?
It really provides opportunities for kids. In the youth sports realm, we have many teams that wouldn't be able to participate in basketball tournaments, or the kids wouldn't be able to participate in youth sports without us offering them a financial assistance aid so they can get involved. In the YMCA, we offer families a chance to get healthy that would not have that opportunity otherwise because of financial means. So we really try to take out that financial barrier for them, and we ask the community to help us with that. I know your son was in our adventure race we had last year, and we host every 4th of July as a part of that also for kids and families to be able to compete in the adventure run, and proceeds would go to our annual campaign.
Well, what you're doing to help kind of get over that financial burden is tremendous. Let's talk a little more here about State Games of America basketball. Different age groups and different divisions, kind of break it down for us. What's coming to Lincoln and Omaha?
We'll have third grade, all the way from third grade to adults, boys, girls, men's, women's. We'll have, depending on the number of teams in each division, we'll have different competitive levels in their divisions for the basketball tournament. We're probably expecting about 200 basketball teams that'll be in the tournament, and then we'll play over the 3 days at LPS sites.
Okay, now when it comes to total entries, basketball's got to be one of the heavy hitters, correct?
Correct. Basketball, well, last year soccer passed us, but before that we were about 5 years in a row where basketball was the highest one.
That's impressive. Do you have an estimate on out-of-state teams coming in?
Currently, we're sitting at probably 60% of the teams signed up are out-of-state teams, and I've been getting a lot of phone calls from different states asking about our tournament, asking about our sites, asking about Lincoln. There's a lot of interest out there in basketball teams. There's a neat video of a team from Oklahoma who's raising money to come to Lincoln to play in the State Games of America.
The Oklahoma squad from a small town, if memory serves, and that's one of the great storylines. What's the fine line that you're preaching when it comes to competitiveness, but also sportsmanship? Because you can kind of flip a switch, even if you didn't play pro ball or high school or college. You want to go in, but it's also in the spirit of competition and sportsmanship too. Correct?
Correct. Yeah. Really, what the spirit of competition is, just giving your all, giving the best you can to your opponent, and respecting your opponent, and just respecting the part of competition. It's just the pure form, competing against somebody else as hard as you can, but also respecting them.
Todd Johnson is with us, director of basketball, Cornhusker State Games for many years, and now in charge State Games of America in Nebraska, July 28th through August 2nd, Lincoln and Omaha. Todd, thanks for what you're doing with the Y. Thanks for what you're doing with the Cornhusker State Games for years, and also, of course, with the State Games of America. Take care and have a great month of July and into August with the State Games.
Great. Thanks, Chris. Have a great show.
Can log on stategamesofamerica2015.com and check out more information. Great honor for the state of Nebraska to be able to host these in Lincoln and in Omaha. And it's a lot like the Cornhusker State Games, but it's national now, National State Games.